here at the Indy Scouting Combine alongside NFL Network analyst Charles Davis. It is so great to see you
Great
on
to
this
see you
day.
as well. Thanks for having me.
No, are you kidding? We're so happy that you were able to provide us your insight. You just came from the Senior Bowl. You were down there doing a lot of the coverage for the NFL Network. What takeaways do you have from this year's class, some benchmarks of this year's draft class?
Well, we always talk about what positions are deep. Okay, that's every draft class, right? I think between now and the time they lower me into the earth, we're going to say receivers are deep in a draft. That's just the way it is. We're playing 7-on-7 everywhere. Quarterbacks are pitching it. Kids are catching it, making those types of plays. When I was a kid, I wore the numbers of running backs. Those were the glamour people. Now the glamour people are the wide receivers and the guys throwing it to them. Because quarterbacks in my day pitched it on the option. Now they pitch it downfield for big plays. That's a big one. Offensive line, especially the offensive tackles, a really deep class of offensive tackles. I think there are a ton of cornerbacks in this draft. Safeties, not so much, but I think some good runners, but not anywhere where we had in the first round like Bijan Robinson last year. So overall, a very good class, very skilled group of kids, and I thought when I saw them at the Senior Bowl, a bunch of good workers too.
Okay, we like to hear that. I know that that's kind of the goal of this combine is to evaluate them on the field, get some good interviews for them. If you're looking at what the Vikings need, they have 2 picks, one in the first round, one in the second round, and then they have to sit out the third round. So where do you think they go, maybe what positions they target there in the first and second round?
Well, quarterback, depending on what happens with Kirk Cousins, would be a discussion point, obviously. Played with a lot of quarterbacks last year. I think you took a snapper, too, at some point
I
during the season.
I may have.
Kevin O'Connell coaching you through the helmet and getting you through. Did a phenomenal job, I thought, creating that. I do think offensive line. I think that continues to be a place where they're going to look, because look at who you're dealing with in your division. Dealing with some pretty stout people on the opposite side, whether it's Detroit, whether it's Green Bay. Chicago played defense like mad at the end of the season last year. So you got to win your division and go in that direction. And look, the defense always is looking for people, and I think edge rusher is going to be a spot, right? Daniil Hunter is phenomenal. Can we get some more running mates for him and be able to play that way?
Brian Flores did do a great job with
Sure
the pieces
he
that
will
he had.
He will scheme, and good luck being an offensive coordinator dealing with that every week.
Exactly. How important do you think it was for the Vikings to retain him for another season?
Phenomenal, because now you're not starting your teaching over again, right? We always talk about when quarterbacks have a new offensive coordinator or a new play caller, they have to start doing it. And quarterbacks will naturally tell you, well, I've had 5 different coordinators in the last 5 years, which is a subtle way of saying there's no continuity for me, so don't judge me too harshly. For defensive players, when you can walk back into OTAs and minicamp, and the veterans should pick right up where they were before, and now Brian can continue to add, and the rookies can jump in, and the veterans can now teach the rookies because they're not learning on the fly. Phenomenal. Plus, the confidence you have in that man and what he did for them last year just allows them to be that much better starting this season.
He, along with several of the Vikings coaching staff and front office, were down at the Senior Bowl, and they were there evaluating all of the prospects. Was there someone that you think caught their eye that could potentially be in the Senior Bowl?
I think, Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, has to catch everyone's eye, and that's a position of need. I think that when you're talking about, the quarterback position, with a Bo Nix, a Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Oregon, Michael Penix, Washington, they'll be available, I think, at pick 11. Do they hit your radar? What if J.J. McCarthy, who was not there from Michigan, is able to slide to 11? Does he hit if indeed quarterback is your target area? As far as runners, I'm going to give you one off the books a little bit. There's a kid named Rasheen Ali out of Marshall. Having a phenomenal, really good Senior Bowl week. Got hurt, tore a bicep. Probably not going to be picked in this draft because they don't know when he's going to be ready. I'm just telling you, I'm a big believer in this young man. If someone get him under the radar, you might like what you're looking at, okay?
I do. I like that. So if the Vikings do not do a QB in the first round, what direction do you think they'll head?
Well, I think, the defense playing so well for them might be a good spot. So Latu at 11.
Sure.
Jared Verse, the edge rusher out of Florida State, comes into mind for me right there. I don't know how high you want to go for a interior defensive lineman because there's a good crop this year. I don't know if you're going to go at 11. That'd be interesting to see if someone values that. If you're going to go with the cornerback position now, if you're going to go back there, Terrion Arnold from Alabama would be available. Ennis Rakestraw from Missouri would be available. The kid that really blew the doors off was Quinyon Marshall.
Right.
I mean, Quinyon Mitchell,
Mitchell,
out of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
Blew the doors off, all right? Again, do they value him as high as 11? He played like it down in the Senior Bowl.
That's true. He did. He definitely did. Well, thank you so much, Charles Davis, the NFL Network's draft analyst. You can catch him on the NFL Scouting Combine coverage on NFL Network all weekend long, beginning Thursday and Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time, and then Saturday, Sunday at noon. Best of luck this weekend. You got a lot going on.
Thank you. I need all luck I can get.